If we get a Jonas at 100%, the gap is still within reach. I mean, we saw Jonas ride away from Pogačar last year, put a couple minutes on him, or chipped away at his time gap. If we get Jonas back to 100%, we still got a race on our hands. It's not over.
The only caveat to that, George, is this Visma bike team is they're not what they were before. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day by Ketone IQ. And as a matter of fact, Sir Bradley told me just a second ago he has had 3 shots of Ketone IQ today. 3. And he was sort of joking that it had just crossed the blood-brain barrier. So I figure how many you had, G?
One.
One, okay.
It was great. Fired up, ready to go.
All right. 3-1. Oh, my God, I feel good. My barrier must be thinner than Bradley's because I already feel it. Talking about stage 14. Alain, what happened? Where'd we go?
Stage 14 from Pau to Saint-Lary-Soulan, Pladadé.
Oh.
From Pau to Saint-Lary-Soulan, Pladadé.
Pladadé.
My understanding is that someone at this table won at that.
2005.
peak.
I got to sit on the breakaway the whole day. Free ride to the finish. Had a good day. Got the W.
Got the W.
Yeah.
That was good. 2005 was a fun year.
Yeah.
That was a fun year. It was just a bonus year. It's like, all right, I guess I'll do another one of these. And I was like, G over there winning stages in the Pyrenees. I was like, shit, this is easy.
It was fun. You had all of Hollywood coming out.
Yeah, Hollywood there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you decided to come back.
Moving on. Second stage win for Tadej Pogačar. We're going to get into all that action. Also, and I think it's worth talking about, I thought they rode a good race. I know we were hard on them the other day. As Sir Bradley said on the way down to the studio, he's like, well, I'm afraid they may eat your words today. I'm not Irish. But they rode a smart race. Before we get into it, today's show brought to you by Zwift. Zwift is doing something really cool this year. They're hosting the Move podcast rides during the Tour de France. That means you don't need to choose between riding or staying up to date with the Tour. You can stay updated on all the action while riding Zwift. And if you're not on Zwift yet, maybe this is the time to buy the new Zwift Ride smart bike. If you saw our little studio walkthrough the other day, you would have seen it. We touched on it. We talked about it. George and I have been doing our 40/20s on it. And here's the thing. It's only $1299.99. That means $1,300. All right. That's the best way to get started on Zwift with the full setup that's ready to go whenever you want to ride indoors. Virtual shifting, check this out, is super quiet and works perfectly every time. And Zwift Ride's adjustability makes it perfect for sharing amongst households too. As George and I have been doing, thank God he has now moved out. Find out more over at Zwift.com, and hopefully we'll see you on the virtual road for a podcast ride. That's Zwift.com. Also today brought to you by Wahoo. Wahoo bike computers are proven in the Peloton. They are used by 8 World Tour teams. We saw it again today. So all these downhills, I know they're looking at that map feature. I love it. More features than ever, including Wahoo's Summit feature, which is also cool. Because if you're on the climb suffering, and in the old days, you're just guessing, like, golly, how much longer is this thing? This sucks. But now you don't have to guess. And you know exactly, right? And it also tells you the gradients. So distance, gradient, you know what's ahead of you. Pretty amazing. Our favorite is the music and GoPro control. Make every ride more engaging by controlling your music directly via your Element bike computer, or capture epic footage via Wahoo's GoPro integration. By the way, that just makes sense. I mean, why not? Thank you, Wahoo. That's what we're supposed to do. Also, part of their product suite is SpeedPlay. I've been riding SpeedPlay pedals for 12 years. I love them. They're stiff. They're aero. As I've said before, I did, and it's a true story. I switched over when I was doing tries, and maybe there's another triathlon in my future. I don't know.
Really?
Why not? I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm not. I'll do anything. This version of Lance, you see it, you feel it.
Yep.
Watch out.
Will you ski jump?
We should do an off-road
Bradley
one.
did?
I will not ski jump.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Time out, speed play. Here's a few things I will not do. I won't squirrel suit or whatever that's called. I won't I would never jump out of an airplane. I would never jump out of a perfectly good airplane. If the plane's going to crash and they give me a parachute, I'm out.
You won't do a funny dance skit, which I asked you to do this morning?
We're going to get to your new filmmaking career. And I will not bungee jump.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Okay. All right. Outside of that, but what I will do is ride speed play pedals. Wahoo cycling products are trusted by the Pro Peloton. As we said, we see them on 8 World Tour teams. Now you can save 20% off on select full price products by using the coupon code THEMOVE 2024 at checkout. During the tour, head on over to wahoofitness.com/TheMove, and the code is THEMOVE 2024. Gets you 20% off. Also today, brought to you by AG1. Let's take control of our health. Morning routines are critical to me, and one of the most important parts of my routine is drinking my AG1. I drink it before working out, right before making my coffee, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day like I'm doing something good for my body. Now, speaking of doing things good.
I got some right here.
Yeah, George is drinking his AG1. We all know, and this is why you don't skip through the commercials. Another thing I like to do that I feel like is good is give gifts. I like to be generous, right? And as George was leaving, he's moving into another house. I was concerned, as we talked about yesterday. He had commandeered the plunger from the house that we were living in. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I said, where's the plumber? Our plunger. And thank God I didn't need the plumber. So, George, I don't know what your setup is over there, but
wow,
we bought you. And look, this proves it's new. It's got this, still has the tag.
I hope so. I hope it's new, because you're
in case you
handing it around the table right now.
In case you run low on AG1, we attached a travel pack of AG1 on there for you. So good luck with the new residence.
I love it.
Thank you for leaving the plunger back at the house.
I know you missed me already.
But here's the deal. If there's one product that I trust to support my whole body health, it is AG1, and that's why I partnered with them for so long. It is easy and satisfying to start your journey and take control of your health with AG1. Here's the deal. Try it out. Get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, plus 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Head on over to drinkag1.com/TDF. That's drinkag1.com/TDF. By the way, the ketone IQ did just cross the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, I'm feeling I'm fired up now.
For sure. Well, you got to get, I mean, you like free shit.
I just had number 4.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
I'm thinking about number 5.
Well, one of these days we'll have Michael on, and I would like to know what the record is, how many, the most anybody's ever had. We might have asked him that before. Back to the race.
Michael, what's the record?
Straight. Where's
Who's had the most in one day?
Here.
3.5.
3.5.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Well, that's a record. You just broke a record, right. Sir Bradley. That yet another record that Sir Bradley holds.
Yeah.
Look, our job is to call it the way we see it. The other day, we did not understand what Pogačar is. I think you could even look at today and ask yourself, what are you thinking? I want to get into that in a second. But the tactics were... They were good. They controlled the race. It wasn't that hard. They kept the break there. They have it. This is what we said the other day. You have Adam Yates and you have guys like that. Just send them up the road. Adam Yates goes up the road, and then Tadej goes right. And I thought, just as a spectator, days like this, and I'm curious y'all's opinion on this. The last week is so demanding. Does this field see a stage like that and say, "My God, we have 5 more"? They almost seemed reserved, or am I making that up?
Well, I think one of our questions have been answered today. Whether or not the other day when Vindigo caught back up to him, whether that was an over limit issue or a fuel issue, and now it's looking like it was more like a fuel issue.
Yeah.
Ran out of fuel, was hanging on for dear life, and today he fueled properly, and perhaps that level is a bit different. But last year we did see a couple days where Pogačar rode away from Vindigo, and then Vindigo came back and rode away from him. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that happens in this final week of the Tour de France.
Yeah, I think what the difference today as well was when he went, of course, he sat on Adam Yates. And then they summited, didn't they? And it went downhill a little bit, and it instantly he opened up the gap. He does always open up the gap on Jonas when it goes downhill. And that sort of variation in terrain, because then he really extended his lead into that final kilometre and that, with a few bends and things like that. It does tend to suit Jonas when it's a bit more of a constant effort. And the minute it goes downhill, Jonas, as we saw the other day when he attacked, instantly loses time. But hats off to Pogačar today.
I said instantly when Adam Yates attacked.
Yeah.
Matteo needs to go right now. Yeah. And if it was a good Jonas, he would say, Matteo, let's go. Don't let this gap go. Yeah. But that did not happen. And we could tell right away that perhaps he wasn't feeling great. Well, yeah. Reserved.
I mean, I said to you in the car, didn't I, Lance, that it seemed odd that he had to go and make more time up. I'd have sat with 1:15, but you said you must have potentially heard something within the peloton or within that group where he maybe told Jorgensen to slow down or something like that. Just a hint,
anything can look. These guys. They know each other very well. They know they've been around, and I'm talking about competitors like Pogačar and Vingegaard. They've been around each other so much. I mean, we did the same thing. Like, I could always tell when somebody was having an off day. You just see them, and it's the smallest of things. You see the way they're sweating. You see if salt's accumulating. You see maybe they have a cough or a little chest thing. Maybe they're just uncomfortable on the bike. Like, you get to know these guys. And we can't see that sitting on a couch in Aspen, Colorado, right? And Correct. You can't understand it by listening to whatever commentary you're listening to. You just can't. Those guys in the race that are 12 inches away, they see these things, and right. And here's a hypothetical, right? So he sends Jorgensen to the front to set a tempo, and we have seen this in the past where, and I don't know, Jorgensen's tempo seemed conservative in what it ought to be, but imagine a world where Vingegaard says, just ease up a bit, right? Just back it down a little bit. We have seen that, right? If Pogačar hears that, he has to go, right? Now, these are hypothetical scenarios. So you just don't, and he didn't talk about it in his post-race press conference or his interview after the race, but who knows, right? But I'm with you. But now, 2 minutes.
That's a nice lead, isn't it?
I think, he got 36 seconds plus 4 extra time bonus seconds, so he's close to 2 minutes.
And if you read the interviews, I mean, that was purely instinctual. Like, they were not planning on attacking. They just wanted to go for the stage win, go for the sprint. They knew he's faster than Vingegaard typically in a sprint like that. But it was just one of those moments where Adam Yates decided to attack. He felt some weakness, went after him. 40 seconds.
I was hoping they would say, why? Did you see something? Did you hear something? Because if I had to guess, he did. Yeah. Right? I think he got the memo the other day. I think the team got the memo. I think they raced smart. I think something else happened in there. He was like, this guy's hurting today. Like, this is a moment where I can go from 1:15 to 2 minutes, which, by the way, is a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that last time trial, you don't want Jonas Vingegaard riding into this thing and you only have a minute, for example. Who knows? But I think he sensed something and pounced, which is, hey, fair play.
If we get a Jonas at 100%, the gap is still within reach. I mean, we saw Jonas ride away from Pogačar last year, put a couple minutes on him, or chipped away at his time gap. If we get Jonas back to 100%, we still got a race on our hands. It's not over.
The only caveat to that, George, is this Visma Lease bike team they're not what they were before. Yeah. And they have great riders, and this is, they've been dealt a bad hand. They've had some crashes. They lost Sepp Kuss before the race. Matteo Jorgensen can't do all the work. I mean, in order to open up this race up, you got to have guys on the front and put Pogačar on the ropes. Yeah. I mean, who's like
you said, they can't be in the yellow jersey right now. Otherwise, they'd be getting attacked like crazy by UAE.
Absolute disaster. And if that's, I mean, in that sense, that's a blessing. They'd get destroyed.
Yeah. What's interesting with Jonas is it's that initial attack and that initial acceleration that he can't handle with Pogačar.
Yep.
Because once they get to their sort of cruising speed, he manages to hold him pretty consistently.
Yeah. In fact, you said he was going to come back.
Yeah. And then
he was coming downhill.
But if you took Pogačar out of the race, Jonas is still miles ahead of everyone else in the race. Yeah. It's just that initial attack and that initial acceleration. Now, whether that comes from obviously lack of racing, lack of preparation because of the injuries he's had, but it's it's that constant speed, and Pogačar has that on him, and I think Pogačar now realises that because you give Jonas a sniff of being able to come back, as we saw the other day when he had the fueling problem. Jonas keeps grinding away. He's like a diesel engine, isn't he?
Yeah, it's that whole tortoise and hare thing.
Yeah.
But today the hare won. Right? I mean, and you noticed Tade's his demeanor and his face
was different today.
Very different.
Yeah.
We even saw the display of emotion when he came across the line.
Yep. And everything about his attitude at the finish. I mean, I think that was I don't want to call it a relief, but by the way, his 13th stage win. in the Tour de France.
Yeah.
25 years old, 13 stage wins.
And use his team the way we know how to use a team like that. Like save them all to the end, keep as many guys together as you can, send your best guy up the road to put the other teams right away in the defensive. I mean, that was a perfect tactic, one that many of us used in the day, and one that we haven't seen him use this Tour de France. Like, we've seen him go so early, blow up his own team, and put himself in a vulnerable situation. Today was absolutely perfect tactic.
Yeah. And shout out to Remco.
Yeah,
he's hanging around, and shout out to his team.
Yeah,
right. When Quickstep, Takuna Quickstep, or whatever they call themselves, the Soudal Quickstep, has more guys than Visma Lease bike. Somebody's having a really good day, and another team's having a less good day. But Remco's hanging in, and if you look at the overall GC, I mean, and JB, you brought this up in the pre-show. He's fighting for the podium. He's 3 minutes 40, 3:40 up on fourth place.
Would you agree if Remco gets on the podium, gets third in the Tour, is a massive victory for Remco Evenepoel?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and we're hearing
a lot of doubters for him in the Tour.
Us included.
But let's not forget, Remco was in that crash with Jonas back in April.
Yep.
You know, it's his great first Tour. I mean, how many years has it been since a Belgian was on the Tour podium at the Tour de France? Mr. George?
That's a good question.
You're the historian. Why are you asking us?
So Lucien Van Imp, I'm going to say.
No way. Really?
I'm going to say Lucien Van Imp, but I might be way off the mark there.
Johan, you listening in? Johan did his son's race right now, so he's probably not listening in, but he would know.
Dang.
We need to find that out. Colin, Google.
Illnesses continue to wreak some havoc in the peloton. Tom Pidcock.
It's getting scary. I feel like every day we're getting 2, 3, 4, today maybe 5 guys. That's a scary scenario for the final week of the Tour de France.
Yeah. I mean, Pidcock doesn't start. Geraint Thomas.
Hang on, I was born in Belgium. I won the Tour.
You are
remembered. Yeah.
Do you have a Belgian passport?
No, but I was born in Ghent.
I know that. I was reading your Wikipedia because I'm studying for your podcast. We're doing an episode of The Forward with
Sir Bradley, you are correct. 1981.
Yeah. Lucien Van Imp.
Wow.
There we go.
So
that's a long time.
Yeah. I don't think that's enough for the Belgians. I think the Belgians want a Belgian Tour winner. But back to the illness thing. Geraint Thomas tests positive for COVID, if you believe what you read, and continues in the race. I mean, like we said yesterday, what a wild world we live in. Like, he'll be all right. Just keep.
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it? Considering how strict they were with that a few years ago. You know.
Yeah, so I wonder, he's probably totally on his own room. He's got to probably get his own transportation to the start.
Hey, that's a good way to get your own room.
Finish. I'm sure he's.
This other pink line came up. Can I have my own room?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested to see who he was rooming with anyway. Maybe he was rooming with Tom Pidcock.
Yep. Text him. He's your boy.
Yeah, I'll go send him a message. I can't take my phone off airplane mode right now, but
well, you're on Wi-Fi. You can still WhatsApp.
No. We need you focused, Sir Bradley. Anything? I wanted to also, just because we've talked quite a bit about the green jersey, and I jumped the gun. I thought this is over. You know, he's won 3 stages and getting. These guys are still, even a day like, you know, when y'all sitting at home, we see the uphill finish. We see that this is a day for climbers. And for GC guys, their sprint. There was one sprint early in the stage. These guys are going for it. Gourmet beat Jasper Philipsen. So I think the most important headline there is he didn't lose any points. He actually gained a point on him. But for him, like, that's all. As soon as he get through that sprint and he gets, you know, more points than Philipsen, that's a good day. We continue to hear from Eritrea. I got some very important outreach yesterday. By the way, I called my travel agent.
She's funny.
Babs. I called Babs. I said, did you understand what I was saying? That you were on. She's like, yeah. I'm like, no. Like the podcast that's on, it's everywhere. She says, yeah. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Anyway, so then I sent it to her, and sent her the minute that she came on. No response.
Just didn't care. And
finally last night I was like, you know, that's not cool. And so I texted her. I said, did you watch it? She writes back, yeah. That's it.
That's it.
I mean,
sounds like my wife. Just does not care what I do.
Oh boy. And ladies and gentlemen, we will probably edit that.
She won't hear it.
We've just turned this into
because she doesn't.
Okay,
then say it.
I can say anything. I've got a side squeeze up here in Aspen. She's not going to hear it. She does not. That's why I married her.
But say something real.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything damaging. Hey, before we move on to tomorrow and all that, I do want to talk about Remco and the rumor that Johan helped ignite yesterday
on JB Squared.
Okay.
Yeah.
That he's going to be going to Red Bull Bora.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
No,
and they've made it really clear in the press. They got the money. They want the next young superstar. So paper talks.
Yeah, they were all in on Roglic, but that's
interestingly enough, a story I heard last night. So something like this, where Remco's got I think 2 years left on his deal. What's going to happen is they're going to have to buy him out of his contract, which I did not know this. Sir Bradley Wiggins was bought out of a contract.
I was.
You care to share this story?
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
I had a year left at Garmin after 2009, and Sky obviously wanted a British leader, and they negotiated for months, and eventually went to New York and got me out on the 9th of December.
And that you said it started at the Carrefour or something. You were walking around Carrefour, didn't you say that?
That was during the Tour de France on the rest day.
Yeah.
Dave Brailsford came out to France, and I had to meet him at the Carrefour supermarket because it was against the rules to start negotiations with riders or even approach riders before the 31st of August or something like that.
Yeah, so think about this, and we're not going to say the amount of the contract, but you made...
Why not?
He made 3 or 4 times the amount of money, but they also had to pay a lot more than the actual total sum of that.
It was nothing to do with paying me out of the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
It was they had them by the balls.
They had
they basically could have. Yeah, they paid a lot.
And so but you were sort of stuck by the ball too, because you didn't have a team until December.
Yeah.
But this is the point is these teams with big budgets are able to do that. I mean, no other team can go in there and take it. So Red Bull has got a huge budget. They can go in and probably, pay Patrick Lefebvre a ton of money and then pay Remco a ton of money. So there we go. He goes to this team. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sort of unfair because these team budgets are so, the differences are so vast these days, but we're probably going to see something like that happen. I do need to point out you were wrong on the last Belgium on the podium. It was Jurgen van den Broek in 2010. Well, you were there. Weren't you third?
That's 2009.
Oh, 2009.
Jurgen van den Broek.
There's no way.
I don't remember that either.
I'm sure he got fourth.
Who said that?
He got fourth, but someone got disqualified though, and he got upgraded. That's why Jurgen actually finished fourth in that tour.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go.
I'm trying to think who it was.
Contador.
That was the Contador tour.
Because Andy Schleck won.
Yeah, that was it. So he got. Yeah, so he's officially
But so he's kind of on the podium.
Yeah, but it doesn't, not in real time, is it? I mean, it's all right. 6 months later, like Andy got handed the trophy.
I'm here to tell you. Here to tell you, real time that doesn't work. Doesn't matter. But back to the real quick on the Remco rumor. We're talking about 2 different teams. There's one consistent thing here, right? Between those 2 teams is Specialized. Don't think for a second that they're not.
Yeah,
that's an easy. I mean, they're competing teams, but there's some synergy there, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get into tomorrow's stage, which is a doozy, here in a second. Today's show brought to you by Ketone IQ. We often hear that fasting and exercise are good for the brain. HVMN launched the world's first drinkable ketone in 2017. Ketone IQ is their latest innovation on ketones with improved effectiveness, taste, and cost. Ketone IQ delivers clean fuel that can cross the blood-brain barrier, supplying your brain and body sustained energy, focus, and sharpness. One small note from watching the race today, when Adam Yates attacked, and of course Michael Brandt, the CEO of Ketone IQ, is here.
In the house.
What a shocking similar. I mean, separated at birth. I mean,
between who?
Adam Yates and Michael Brandt. Did you see?
I don't see it. Do you see it?
No. They look at him. He's right here. He's right off camera. He looks just.
Which, by the way, Michael is also a beast of an athlete.
He is.
Dude runs like
That's what I'm saying. Separated. They're endurance beasts. I feel like and Yates has another brother. Simon Yates.
I don't know. I don't see it. You might need a little bit darker beard.
Anyways, here's the deal. 30% off your first subscription order plus a free 6-pack when you use the link ketone.com/themove. That's ketone.com/themove. And look up a picture of Michael Brandt. And look up a picture of
Gareth Southgate.
Huh? Cheese, old boy. Yeah, right. Today's show also brought to you by Jimmy Casper.
All right.
Moving on.
No, too soon.
Too soon.
That was like a Letterman move to throw that out and then just look around for the response.
I was channeling my inner Johnny Carson. It was just like, have you ever roomed with Jimmy Casper? Never. Yeah. Also today brought to you by Ekoi. We're pleased to announce a new partner, Ekoi. Love this brand. Oh, check it. We got the Ekoi helmet on the desk today.
That's this helmet, don't you?
That's a different one than. Here's the thing. I love this helmet.
Yeah.
I can't wear that helmet because that's more their Speedy Aero helmet, and I sweat so much that I wear the Gara. It's super ventilated, super light. It works perfectly. It's very comfortable. It's the most comfortable helmet I've ever put on my head, and I'm not BSing you guys or gals. But this one I would sweat too much. It'd be just projectile sweating. It is one of the few brands that truly develops its products in close collaboration with pro athletes across all the disciplines: road cycling, triathlon, gravel, and mountain bike. Ekoi is the most represented brand in this Tour de France. How about that? 4 teams: Israel Premier Tech, Lotto Destiny, Arkea, and Team Cofidis. Their products are available exclusively online at Ekoi, E-K-O-I, ekoi.com. The entire Ekoi website is currently on sale until the end of July with discounts of up to 60%. It is hard to find better deals. Special offer with the code THEMOVE. You get $15 off any purchase of $150 or more at ekoi.com. Hey, G. It's a good question about how you slept last night, because you slept in a new bed. New house, new bed, new fancy friend giving you houses here and right on the river. By the way,
I was kind of scared. I was all alone
right
in
on
this
the
huge
river.
house.
He's right on the river. I mean, he doesn't just get a house. He goes for the one.
Well,
did you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's right on the.
You left out the fact that you kicked me out of the house.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said you need to be gone by Friday afternoon. Wait,
My daughter is
the way you
coming
said it was like, when are you leaving again? I go, why? He goes, well, I need you out by Friday. Which, let's get back on track here. We'll tell a story in a
How'd
second.
you sleep at that new house?
Like a baby, actually.
Of course you did. It must be nice to have no stress. The only stress in George's life is what other fancy friend can he call? What other fancy place can he stay in? That, my friends, is stressful.
Stress. I have to work with you every day. And thankfully, our friends at The Feed sent me this new drink called Pillar Magnesium. It's very good for stress and sleep.
And you're saying it works?
Bro, I've been sleeping like a baby, catching some serious Z's.
And like all the other things you left around the house that were half drunk, I did see that pineapple coconut mix you had out there of the Pillar. I tried it.
Yep.
It's not bad. I will give you that. I sleep great. I slept even better.
And it's only $1 a day.
I'm not as cheap as you, but $1 for a better night's sleep. Think about that. $1, $360 a year, $365 a year to sleep better. Check it out. By the way, they're from Australia, mate. Our friends over at The Feed who were with us this morning, go to thefeed.com. You save 20% off on Pillar. Make sleep a pillar of your life. Right, mate. Thefeed.com.
We talking tomorrow or what?
You're still... You're still stunned. I would be stunned too, as a matter of fact.
What about what? About
Nothing. Nothing. Let's talk about.
All right, I'll get us back on track.
No bad word. By the way, we're on Peacock today. No bad words.
No bad words.
Right.
Hello, any new listeners on
Yep.
Peacock. Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
thanks
show.
for having us on. We're excited.
Yep.
Tomorrow's stage. Now, someone else at this table has won there twice.
So we hear.
Are you familiar?
Did you ever win up there?
No.
No? But did you race it when you won the tour?
No, we didn't go up there. No.
Huh.
No.
Yeah. One of the listeners sent in that yours truly has won there twice. I joke and kid on this show all the time and just make stuff up.
I seem to recall you winning up there.
No,
And I seem to think that you had Roberto harassed to a similar thing that Adam Yates did when you won up there that year, and you jumped across to him. I might be wrong, but can we check that? And I seem to think it was. I seem to think it was 2002.
That's very possible.
Do you want to check that, Jim?
It's very possible, and I totally believe you. But this is no joke. That was then. This is now, right? And I don't even remember these things. But that's cool. So whoever sent that in, thank you.
Yeah, if we can pull up that profile. I mean, that's a beast of a profile. I think the
profile
hardest day of the Tour de France yet. Wouldn't you agree?
Ooh, I mean, you're making
Look at this. Look at this start, 7K uphill start. This is an absolute nightmare.
This is a one
for 95% of the peloton. That's going to hurt so bad from the start.
Here's the kicker, right? The stage is 200 kilometers, more or less. It's 198 kilometers, so call it 200. You got to go up. Normally, you go over the Pure Sword at the end of a stage, sort of leading up to a big uphill finish. And you're like, oh my God, the Pure Sword's a beast. That's the start. You're going to get to the top, and you've done 7 kilometers, and you've got 191 kilometers. This is a dreaded start for, especially guys like Cav.
Yeah, guys. And let's not forget, we're in the southern part of France now. Going to be hotter. I don't know. Did we check Did we do? What's the guy's name again?
Troy Kimmel. I did a little Troy Kimmeling, and the weather. They've got good weather these days. It was cool today, and tomorrow I think the high is 79. And clear skies, right? So that's good riding weather. So
we started that climb, Col de Périsord. Then we have the Col de Mente. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. And the Col de Porte d'Aspet, which are 2 nasty steep climbs. They're almost 10% on average. I remember them quite well. Yeah. Very, very tough. And then we have a huge valley. So there's going to be some guys that are, these climber guys that aren't getting any love because Pogačar keeps wanting to win the stages. I mean, they don't have many chances left. They got to try to get away early. It's going to be super aggressive from the start, really hard.
We all know what they call the Porte d'Aspet is, don't we?
Why?
I seem to think that's the descent that Fabio Castelli does.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So they will. We'll have to look at the map, but they might go right by the monument.
Yeah.
And back to the weather real quick. I mean, that makes a difference. I mean, it's nice to ride in those temperatures, but you talk about a guy like Pogačar who does seem to have those days. I mean, if you had a day where it was in the 90s or in the 30s Celsius, it makes those more likely. Cooler temps, probably better for him. But this is a beast of a day. 4,800 meters of climbing, so whatever that is in feet. 20% more than today. Rest day the following day.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and call something out.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jonas just had a bad day today. He's going to regroup. I mean, we've seen the guy is sort of a robot when it comes to that. We saw him regroup the other day when he got dropped from Pogačar. Today, he couldn't quite claw it back, but I'm not giving up hope on him, and I think he's going to really try to rally tomorrow, especially the day before rest day. Pogačar can now technically go more on the defensive. He's got a 2-minute lead. So it's up to Wiesmann now to start making some action happen. And I think we'll see some... Well, we're going to see some fireworks, and I hope it's Jonas firing them off.
I don't think the equation has changed. If he's sitting in the hospital in the Basque Country, and now you get to tell him you're 2 weeks into the Tour de France, and you're entering that 3rd week, and you're less than 2 minutes down. Do you take the deal? He still takes the deal. So what he's winning in a lot of ways. Yeah. Now, if he wants to win, he's got to go. Something has to happen, but he still takes that deal.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Tomorrow is going to be a really pivotal day in the Tour de France.
I was surprised they lost Wout van Aert quite as early as they did today.
Agreed. He just doesn't seem to be firing as good as he has been.
But he's very up and down, isn't he? We saw him get second. And
we're not used to seeing Wiesmann Lisa bike with 1 or 2 guys on a final climb. We're used to seeing them with Sepp Kuss and 3 or 4 other guys. So, it's definitely changing the dynamic of the race, but I'm not giving up hope on Jonas. Speaking of 2 weeks, it's also our 2-week anniversary of living together, Lance. Should we do like a little cheers or something? Or how's it been? How's it been? Have you enjoyed it as much as I have? Or
I loved it. I love you. I do, and I love having you around. I do. I mean, I was a little sad last night. I mean, you're never at home for dinner because you're out whining and dining. But it's I had to make the coffee myself.
You did.
Which
you made it kind of weak this morning.
Oh, here now.
It was a little bit weak, but we did have our boy Coatland catch, a special moment, which I feel in our history. Well, you might want to check it out.
I feel like we should set it up though. This is George. I never saw this coming. Right, I've known you a very long time. Right, we're going back to, 1989 at the Olympic Training Center. That's a long time. I never thought that I'd ever see the day that George becomes a filmmaker, and not just a filmmaker.
I found my new purpose.
Yeah, a filmmaker, a writer, a producer, all of these things. And I got to say, stuff's pretty good. I think we're going to roll the latest.
And a model. I would add model.
Let's roll the latest.
Well, I always knew it was a model.
QVT.
This is going to get us banned from YouTube.
The sag was on purpose, y'all. Ordered double XL tidy whiteys.
Oh my God, so bad.
Holy shit! Is that George Hincapie?
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, good morning, bro.
Morning.
Coffee ready?
This is what it's like. 2 weeks of this every day.
Directed by George Hincapie. Now, what as the director and as really as the creator of this piece of content, I'm just curious about the porn music that you.
I did not.
Did you search that
I
out?
did not pick the music. I'm just
that was some Boogie Nights stuff right there.
That was Boogie Nights.
Dude.
I did not pick the music, but it fit well with the video, I think. Good times. I'm gonna miss you. That's for sure.
All right.
Likewise.
Ventum Trivia.
Yeah.
And I've got some great emails with some visuals, too, for those of you who watch the show. Stick around. But yesterday's question was, last November, Germany's Amazon Prime released a documentary on Jan Ullrich. What was it called? English or German title? We accepted. The answer was The Hunted, or Der Gejagte, as in Jager, is hunting. Today's question.
Did anybody get that one?
I don't know. I don't get the answer.
Okay, no, I was gonna say, that's the toughest one so far.
Yeah. This is a tough one. Which Ventum employee twice won the U.S. Pro Crit National Championship and was runner-up at the U.S. National Champs Road Race?
Bart Bowen.
No. Wow. Now that's a blast from the past.
Send your answer to ventumracing.com/themove.
Where's Bart Bowen from? Come on, man. Come on. This is the only bike racer ever from there that I know of.
I don't even know where he's from.
I remember watching that Triple Crown video when I was a kid. This is 30 years ago, and he was on there. Can't remember. Tell me.
Albuquerque.
Okay. Man.
Really?
All right. We've got some good emails and some visuals here. This is Patrick in L.A. who wrote to us before. This is part 2 because it's really good. I've been saving it. Sir Bradley has some of the greatest careers when it comes to hairstyles.
I do.
I've included a few of my favorites.
Okay.
Here's some of his iconic hairstyles through the years.
Yeah.
That's when we got arrested.
What is
Kid Vicious. He gave them names, too.
Kid Vicious.
So you are getting it. Wow.
Oh, whoa. That's a good
What
one.
is going on? Trucking Liam Gallagher. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
He got serious there.
Okay.
Mother.
Oh.
No, that's going out too. All right.
Whoa, Justin Bieber. He looked here. We got the
All right.
Justin Bieber.
Wow. What is happening here?
Yeah.
The Neo.
Oh, that's
row.
That was my Charles Manson.
That's from
look.
like The Survivor or Charles Manson. Yeah.
Charles Manson.
That's the last one.
Wait, we had he had a bleach blonde hair look that he showed us an interview from yesterday. Remember?
So that was from 2002. That was when we all wrote Game together.
Man.
Hey.
Wow.
Good
Good work. I mean, what you said, John?
Patrick.
Patrick.
All right.
We've used 2 of his messages. Okay.
Has Jimmy Casper sent in any questions?
No, he sent a mysterious package. All right.
It has been 2 weeks. We too are getting tired.
Hey,
Imagine riding this thing. It's so hard sitting here talking about it.
Here's a good one. You guys are fans of Magnus Cort, yes?
Yep. Big
Yeah,
time.
I think
He's an aggressive rider.
I think he's right. I'll never, he did that whole helicoptering thing. Do you remember that when he was the one that after he would put on after? Have you ever heard this?
Right, I forgot about that.
This Magnus Cort.
Yeah.
Right. This Danish guy.
Yeah.
He gave an interview. He won a stage or something, and they were like, "Wow, what do you do after the stage?" He's like, "Oh, I go to my room." And he named some Scandinavian metal band that nobody's ever heard of. He goes, I put them on and put a volume on 10, and I get naked and I just helicopter around the room. And we're like, wait, okay, same guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's a hoot.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be funny to say stuff like that.
Okay, this is really good. What I'm going to share with you, because you guys have always talked about how sometimes you're in a bad hotel, right? Sometimes it can be great, sometimes bad. I was like, yeah, these are diva cyclists. You're exaggerating a little bit. But We got a message, and it said, would love to get Lance, George, and Sir Bradley's perspective on Magnus Cort's giving each of his Tour de France hotel rooms a detailed review daily on Instagram.
Oh, that's cool.
He does 1 out of 7 stars. And I've got some images of the most recent room he's in. He said, one night in this room, it's one of the worst places I've stayed in many years. I was welcomed by the long concrete corridor that smelled exactly like it looked. Old abandoned bunker, a smell that takes me back to my childhood exploring abandoned places. And anytime you're expecting some old angry man coming screaming at you that you're not allowed to be there. But this time around, we had to stay the night. The room was no better.
Look at the floor. Please. Wow. I mean, I watched Dateline last night. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You throw some blue light up on that floor, there is no telling what comes. But that's it, folks. I mean, but here's the other thing. I mean, not most, but about half of them, let's say, are like that now. And you don't know, right? And you can try to look ahead in the hotel, the book you get before the race, and kind of guess. And some of them, you've been there before. Like, that night is a great night. Like, I know the owner of the hotel; they're super sweet. We had that many years, but. And then all of a sudden they'll spring some 5-star on you. Yeah. And you're like, it makes a huge difference.
He went on to say that it just was like 100% humidity in the room. He said he'd have to go down 2 flights of stairs just to pee in the middle of the night. So he just peed in a jar.
Yeah. So when we, 2012, by 2012 Team Sky, this was part of the marginal gains thing. We'd have our own mattresses. Everybody would have their own mattress. Yeah. They bring that, the Swan-Years would take that into the rooms before we arrived. Wow. We'd have our own bedding, so you'd have the same mattress and bedding every night. They'd put it on top of the bed that was in the room. You'd have an air conditioner unit that would plug in with a thing in case there was no aircon. An air purifier. Yeah. So we'd have all those things. They were the marginal gains things. So you'd have, you try and control your. You
had like a whole truck full of sleeping stuff, right?
That's a lot of work for all the staff. I mean, it's like, they pack your bedding up in the morning as well as your suitcase.
I'm sure the best teams do that now too, right?
I'm sure so, But Dave Brailsford did want to move that on, that every rider had their own camper van. Yeah. And we'd park in those, but obviously the race organizer wouldn't allow that. Yeah.
Richie Porte tried it in the Giro, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think they rolled up with his own RV. And
that was from Jack in Ann Arbor. Thanks for sending that. It's Magnus Cort on Instagram. He's reviewing every.
It's great.
I think it highlights. Here we're talking about one of the.
I'm gonna follow him right now.
One of the biggest annual sporting events in the world.
And they have to stay in places like that.
Yeah, you can compare it to all the other big sports: Formula One, soccer, big global sports, and then you see that stuff. And by the way, too, this is also the hardest sporting event in the world.
Can you imagine Djokovic, who's made the Wimbledon final, staying in a place like that?
No, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine.
Man. A couple more, just for fun. Because we've only got, one more day with Sir Bradley. So, to really get Lance going, imagine if cycling had similar rules to random additional minutes of soccer. The sprinters or leaders would get to the Tour de France stage finish line, and then the official would say, actually, you got 250 more meters of racing. That's from Mike in North Vancouver.
I agree. That's why we have
there is a race within cycling that exists that has those rules, and it's called the unknown distance race on the track.
Huh. I didn't even know about this.
Whoa!
Keep going.
You race around, and only the commissaires and the judge know what the distance is, and they'll ring the bell, and you've got 1 lap to go. It's called unknown distance.
So you could do 1 lap, and they could ring it.
Yep, or you could do 25.
No clue.
Okay. I had no idea that existed.
Me neither.
But you can imagine that leading to things like bribery and betting and all sorts. If you just get in the judges' ear.
And one more from Tracy, because I think I did see something thrown at or somebody had contact with Pogacar. Tracy writes, for all of you, have any of you ever had to physically protect yourselves from crazy fans at the top of these mountain climbs, perhaps swatting them out of the way or a bit of a headbutt? This is Tracy in Florida.
Oh, I have actually. Mont Ventoux 2009. There's footage of it on YouTube. We can find that. I literally had to push a spectator out of the way because he was coming in the road and they were getting a bit close. But yeah,
I don't think I did. But then again, I don't remember much.
You were on that stage, Mont Ventoux. You guys were battling it out.
Yeah.
Who was in front of whom? You won in 2009? No.
I won this race right here.
That was a hard one too. Crosswind battle to the base of Mount Ventoux. I remember it quite well. You remember that, Bradley, don't you?
Well,
The crosswind battle.
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
the
There's only
crosswind,
like 30 guys at the bottom. I was still there, chill.
yeah.
Do you feel like you get to relive your life here on the show? It's
Well, especially with these two guys. I mean, we have endless amounts of stories. If you guys can just sit at dinner with us, it's pretty funny.
all right. Send your questions in the move at wedo.team.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, big day. And if you want to get up early, I mean, I don't know if I can DVR it or something, but I mean, the start's going to be.
I'll be up early.
You will be watching the start.
What time's the start?
It's a long stage.
For us, it's like
they'll start earlier. It'll be maybe even earlier, but nasty day, big day of climbing, and we'll see. Again, like we said a minute ago, I think Vingegaard takes this deal 2 months ago when he's in the hospital, but now's the time.
Yeah.
Right? We got to start. If you took the deal and you came here to win, now you got to start maybe retrading the deal. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's going to regroup and come out hard tomorrow.
I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.